Okay, so I am working from the folder floats, and you should download that, unzip it, and then go up to Site, New Site, and point to that. And this is the page, first float page. So what is a float? A float is something that allows us to take our elements, so that means like our divs or our images, out of their natural flow. We know their natural flow is upper leftitis and then stacked right on top of each other. So how do we get some of these divs to be side by side, for example? Or how can we make it so that we could have an image and then text on the side of it? That's taking things out of their natural flow, which is normally just stacking. And that's one way that we can do it is with floats. So here I have 3 divs, and I've given them a width and a different color, right? So we have div left, middle, and right. And I gave them heights also, just so that we could actually see them. And I'm going to add this float attribute into my left one. So I'm going to float it to the left. Okay? And we look over here. Now this looks a little bit weird. This is the one that I added that to was the div with the ID of left. And what it looks like in the web page is that my second float just kind of disappeared. The one that I added this attribute left to looks exactly the same, but one of the other divs is gone. It's not actually gone. It's actually underneath this. All right, so let's keep going here. I'm going to now go to my div called middle, and I'm going to give that also the attribute of float left. Okay, so now I can see it. It had gone underneath. Why did it go underneath? Because when you float something to the left, or you can also do it to the right, we're taking it out of its natural order, and the other divs on the page think that that space is available. It's like New York City real estate. Someone moves out of an apartment, everyone wants to move in. So this div thought, okay, this space is available, so it scoots up over there, when actually, because it can't see that this div is here, and it looks like it's behind. So that's exactly what's going on with this last one now. I'm going to save this page, and we'll just check out what it looks like in the browser if I refresh it. So the second one came up here, but the last one is actually underneath here, because the last div there, the one on the right, thinks that this space is available, so it's moved up there. So I'm going to also float it to the left, and that's going to allow it to come right here. So it's one right after another. So go to this one right and float it to the left. And now I can see all 3 of them. But what did my footer do? My footer thinks that this space is available. It doesn't see them anymore. It's like they've been floated, so it's almost like they're invisible to all the other divs. They don't know it's there. So it tries to jump up, it's a real opportunist, and take this space over. Okay, just to look at that in the browser. There it is. It's actually behind these guys. Okay, so at this point, there's something else we have to do. We're going to go to our footer, and we're going to put in clear both. So what that's saying is stop this whole floating thing. Stop trying to jump into the space. We're clearing this thing that's happening with the floats. And basically that allows the footer to come down, and it kind of allows it to recognize or see that these guys are here. All right. So this is how you can get your divs to be side by side. And then the really nice thing, and why people use floats a lot, is it's super easy to switch your layout around. Let's say that you had like these 3 columns, and you had an image here, some text, and then an image. And you wanted to see what it would look like if you swapped these 2 images, for example, or you just had things in different orders. Well, let's just switch everything. Instead of floating left, we'll float it to the right. Okay, and so now it's all going over to the right-hand side, and they've switched their order. So the one that says this is right is actually in the left now. The middle is still in the middle, and the one that says this is left is on the right-hand side now, because they all switched. Okay, so floating allows you to put things side by side. It takes things out of their natural order. The thing to be aware of is the divs underneath. Think that that space is available, so it tries to move up. So the next div that you have after wherever you stop floating, you have to put this attribute of clear both. All right, that's the starting point of floats. In the next videos, we'll go over applying it to some various scenarios.